These are the faces of the Saints, the men who play professional football in New Orleans, men who make up the youngest team in the National Football League. In 1971, the expected inconsistency of youth gave way to the unexpected as the New Orleans Saints, more than a third of them rookies, led a youth rebellion that time and time again shocked the football world. After a rigorous and highly demanding training camp, head coach J.D. Roberts and the Saints were ready for opening day. The season's first game, played in New Orleans in newly resurfaced Tulane Stadium, matched rookie quarterback Archie Manning with All Pro Roman Gabriel of the heavily favored and title-minded Los Angeles Rams. The New Orleans defense played brilliantly in the first half, consistently halting Ram drives and forcing mistakes. At the half, the teams were tied 3-3. Bob Gresham kept a drive alive in the third quarter with a miraculous catch. Then Archie Manning put the Saints in the lead with this pass to Dave Parks. Then the defense pressured Gabriel into another mistake, and Richard Neal's recovery set up Bob Gresham's short touchdown hop to give New Orleans a 17-3 lead. But the Rams methodically fought back, and with only a minute 24 remaining, they led 20-17, and it appeared as if they had managed to stave off a major upset. But Archie Manning was far from finished for the day. First, he hit Bob Gresham for a long gain. Then he connected with Danny Abramowitz to stop the clock with 35 seconds left. 2 plays later came a big break. Ram defender Jim Nettles was called for interference, setting the stage for an unbelievable finish. With first down on the 1, Jim Ford was unable to crack the Ram defense. Then Manning overthrew Abramowitz. Now 3 seconds were left. Time for one final play. As if it had been preordained, the final play belonged to Archie Manning. His slide around the Ram flank and into the end zone was hotly contested by Los Angeles, but it was genuine, and the young Saints had produced an epic upset. For Archie Manning, it was an heroic beginning. His entrance into the NFL was marked not by the usual frustration that shrouds a rookie quarterback, but rather by a resounding clap of thunder that startled all of pro football. The San Francisco 49ers came to town the following week and were forced to witness a magnificent display by Danny Abramowitz, who caught 3 long touchdown passes, 1 from Ed Hargett and 2 from Archie Manning, to give the Saints hope for another shocking upset. But in the end, the 49ers defense proved too strong, forcing too many mistakes, and San Francisco left town with a 38-20 triumph. The Saints made their first regular season appearance in the Houston Astrodome the following week. Early in the first quarter, Danny Abramowitz somehow ended up with an Archie Manning pass, and his touchdown gave New Orleans the lead. Then Oiler quarterback Charlie Johnson hitched up with Charlie Joyner for a long touchdown that knotted the score at 10-10. Houston went ahead 13-10 with less than a minute left. But Archie Manning, scrambling madly, looking for a way to avoid defeat, completed 3 straight passes to open the door for place kicker Charlie Durkee. With 9 seconds left, Durkee gave the Saints a 13-13 tie. The Saints next traveled to Chicago for a meeting with the brutal Bears. Hoyle Granger scored on a perfectly executed play, but his touchdown was not enough as a gallant second-half rally fell short. The alert Bears found too many ways to score and won 35-14. New Orleans dramatically bounced back the following week against the Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys. Danny Abramowitz didn't have to go far out of his way to get on television, but he undoubtedly did not like the exposure. The Saints defense played their best game to date and held the powerful Cowboy offense completely in check for the entire first half. The defense intercepted 2 Craig Morton passes, but more importantly, they took away the long bomb that Dallas had been so successful with in the past. The Saint offense also played brilliantly, with Archie Manning scrambling, confusing the Dallas defense. Tony Baker's catch gave New Orleans its first touchdown. Then Al Dodd took a short Dallas field goal on his own 8-yard line and returned it 77 yards to pave the way for yet another New Orleans score. Archie Manning's scramble resulted in a 17-0 lead over the bedazzled Cowboys. But Dallas staged a second-half comeback, and by late in the fourth quarter, they had narrowed the gap to 17-14. And they were in prime position to go ahead when the Saints were forced to punt, with only 1 minute 52 seconds left. But Julian Fagan's punt slipped out of Dallas' hands and into the hands of Dave Kopay, who ended up on the 2-yard line. 3 plays later, Archie Manning closed the lid on Dallas. And incredibly, the Saints had masterminded another phenomenal upset. Despite sustaining an injury that would plague him for the rest of the year, Archie Manning once again had been the catalyst. By this point in the season, the Saints' 2-2-1 record was the biggest surprise in all of football. The story of Archie Manning's first season is a story of a unique success. A success that will benefit the Saints for many years to come. As predicted, he quickly learned how to best use his heralded passing ability. But perhaps more importantly, he learned how to shock open a defense with unexpected dashes from the safe haven of his passing pocket. His runs switched on a new light in the Saints' offense and frequently left defenses defenseless. But in his often reckless struggle for victory, Archie Manning also learned of the bruising reality of professional football. At times, there was no escape. His irreplaceable contribution in 1971 was his rock-ribbed desire to win. But in search of victory, he too frequently ran headlong into injury. In the end, he was to miss more than 1/2 the season. But Ed Hargett stood strong behind Manning. He too produced a unique story of success. Occasionally hampered by pain of his own and always fighting the odds, he was a grim competitor, fulfilling the hopes of any coach to have a competent second quarterback. In the youthful confusion of 1971, he was a great improviser, and he carried the weight of a team through much of the season. Without his leadership, the frequent loss of Manning might well have been catastrophic. But in only his 3rd year, he proved to be a steady leader, and he was named the Saints' most valuable player. In front of Hargett and Manning was the most improved part of the Saints' attack in 1971, the offensive line. Number 50, Jake Cupp, had his finest year, but was denied a deserved Pro Bowl appearance. In addition to Dell Williams, there were newcomers John Didion, Glenn Ray Hines, and rookie Don Morrison, all teaming to keep the defense at bay. Danny Abramowitz has emerged as a super receiver and was the Saints' high man for the 5th straight year. He has now caught at least one pass in 64 consecutive games, a team record. Number 83, Dave Parks, had perhaps his best year as a Saint. He always made the tough catches, and his dependability was a major asset to the offense. Al Dodd, number 25, made several crucial catches in all of the Saints' victories, and once again returned kickoffs and punts. But he was nagged throughout the season by injury. Dodd's injuries gave rookie Bob Newland, number 41, the opportunity to gain valuable playing experience while proving himself to be an excellent wide receiver. Injury forced frequent realignment of the running backs, and several men performed well. Number 42, Jim Strong, in his second year, ended the season as the team's leading rusher. Number 35, Bob Gresham, clawed and twisted out enough yardage to be named the Saints' Rookie of the Year. Perhaps the best new back in 1971, though, was rookie Jim Ford, number 28, who was the leading rusher until he tore up his knee with 5 games to play. Newcomer Hoyle Granger, number 40, filled in with power runs. Rookie Virgil Robinson, number 47, added flat-out speed to the New Orleans backfield. Although punter Julian Fagan, number 10, did not lead the league as he did last year as a rookie, his punts nonetheless frequently kept the opposition in their own territory. Place kicker Charlie Durkee was a welcome addition in 1971. He finished the year with the second-best accuracy percentage in the league, hitting on 16 of 23 attempts. With 5 games under their belts, the youthful Saints had already generated a season full of surprises. The season's 6th game marked perhaps the Saints' poorest performance of the year, as the Atlanta Falcons gained a 28-6 win. Ex-Saint Billy Kilmer led the rebuilt Redskins against New Orleans the following week. A super effort by the Skins defense stymied the Saints 24-14. New Orleans next hosted the powerful Oakland Raiders in another game that surprised the football world. The Raiders raced into the lead with a pass from Darryl LaMonica to Fred Biletnikoff. They increased their lead to 14-0 when Pete Banaszak scored. But Jim Strong made it 14-7 with this run. Then in the 4th quarter, the Raiders went ahead 21-7, but the Saints quickly scored to only trail by 7. Then, with 36 seconds left, Ed Hargett went to work. First, he hit Dave Parks for 21 yards. And then with only 13 seconds left, he found Parks one more time, and the Saints had managed to tie the Raiders 21-21. Once again, New Orleans had produced a shocker. In 1971, a youth-dominated defense yielded some yardage, but gained valuable experience. Third-year man Richard Neal, number 87, helped spearhead the defensive line with brutal speed and aggressiveness. This was the first full year in New Orleans for Joe Owens, number 72, but his style of play assured him it won't be his last. Rookie Bob Pollard, number 82, started at tackle and grew stronger with every game. Number 89, Dave Long, with 6 years' experience, was, incredibly, the oldest man on the defense. Several linebackers saw action in 1971. Number 55, Jim Flanagan, was a starter in the middle. Number 59, Wayne Coleman, anchored the right side. The left side was shared by Carl Cunningham, number 60, and Tom Roussel, number 54. Number 53, Dick Absher, battled injury all season, but finished as a starter. The Saints' defensive backfield is the youngest in football. Someday, it may be the finest. Hugo Holas, number 18, with 2 years' experience, was the team's free safety and perhaps its best defender. He was aided by another 2-year man, Dallas Howell, number 20, who was the Saints' interception leader. Doug Wyatt, number 23, also in his second year, used excellent speed to track down the ball. Rookie D'Artagnan Martin, number 22, was the remaining starter in the backfield. And although he made the usual rookie mistakes, he showed considerable progress as a cornerback. With the defense primed, the Saints were ready for yet another startling upset. As the Saints traveled to San Francisco, they were given little hope against the title-bound 49ers. When John Brody looped a short pass to Vic Washington, the Saints found themselves trailing 10-0 in the first quarter. But Ed Hargett got his team back in the game with its 39-yard strike to ex-49er Dave Parks. Trailing now 10-7, the Saints defense came alive and turned the momentum around. With 3 seconds left in the half, they halted a 49er drive on the 1-yard line. And San Francisco went to the locker room with a sudden realization that their expected victory might not pan out. The Saints took over the lead in the third quarter. Jim Strong, another ex-49er, broke free around left end for 39 yards to set up Ed Hargett's picture pass to Danny Abramowitz. But the play was nullified by an offensive interference penalty. So 2 plays later, Hargett tossed another touchdown pass, this one to Dave Parks. The Saints now led 19-13, but San Francisco took the lead with only 2 minutes remaining. There was still time, though, for Ed Hargett. First, he passed to Al Dodd for a gain of 47 yards. Then he threw to Virgil Robinson for what proved to be the winning touchdown. Although New Orleans led 26-20, the 49ers still had one more chance to win. But Hugo Holas put an end to their dreams with this interception. Incredibly, the Saints had done it again. They had worked another miracle. The defense again played well against the powerful Central Division champion Vikings the following week. But Minnesota's awesome defenders forced too many offensive miscues, and they left town with a 23-10 triumph. The Saints' final win came the following week against the Green Bay Packers in Milwaukee. Donnie Anderson's short touchdown put the Pack ahead, but a record 5 Charlie Durkee field goals kept New Orleans in the lead. This pass to Danny Abramowitz was nullified by a penalty for the second time in 3 weeks, but the play that killed the Packers and assured victory was provided by Doug Wyatt. The Saints won 29-21. They were now ready to head home, ready to witness a tremendous welcoming by the New Orleans fans. They jammed the airport to greet owner John Mecum and his surprising team. They were justifiably proud of Coach J.D. Roberts and the 40 men who wore the Saints uniform. This was a team that was supposed to be rebuilding, a team that was given little hope at the beginning of the season. But it was also a team that had found a way to win while learning. The Saints met the Rams in the season's 12th game, their hopes incredibly still alive for a Western Division championship. But the day belonged to number 33, Willie Ellison, who set a new rushing record with 247 yards. Although the Saints battled back from a 35-7 deficit, the Rams emerged with a 45-28 victory. The Saints closed out the season with 2 very narrow losses. The Cleveland Browns saw Virgil Robinson score on a pitch-out to give New Orleans a 10-7 halftime lead. And the Browns saw Jim Strong increase the lead in the second half. But the Cleveland defense forced a fumble from Archie Manning that resulted in a touchdown and a 21-17 victory. New Orleans lost their final game to the Atlanta Falcons in the last seconds. But Archie Manning ended the season in much the same way he had begun it, with a spectacular performance. The Saints led 2017 with 40 seconds left, but Bob Berry threw a strike, and Atlanta won 24-20. '71 was a year of stunning achievement for the New Orleans Saints and their head coach J.D. Roberts and his staff. It was a year that had begun with no promise of victory and little realistic hope to win, but one that ended with the Saints having acquired the potential to become consistent winners. It was a year when the ugly, rough edge of inexperience was beautifully and gracefully molded into a hard-earned respectability.